Hello and welcome to StudyIQ. In this video of StudyIQ, I will bring to you the analysis of 11th of July. Please note that just 2 hours before, I have uploaded 10th July video also. So I was one day late because I had to go somewhere out of station, and therefore you need to watch 2 videos today. So you have your work cut out. If you want to buy our pen drive course for UPSC, dial this number. This is one of the best ways to prepare. You don't need to go anywhere. Just sit in the comfort of your home and buy this course and watch the videos for any number of times. And first test for our UPSC Mains test series has been uploaded. You can still buy it till 15th of July. You'll get 15% discount on our UPSC Mains test series for essay writing. Identify this person. I always ask you one person to identify. Your hint is Green Revolution. Now, can you identify this person? Okay, here we go. So Prime Minister Modi, he interacted with the Chief Secretaries of all the states and Union Territories. We have 29 states and 7 Union Territories, and he interacted with the Chief Secretaries of all the states. He said that the participation of the states is very, very important. It is paramount. It is indispensable if we are to transform India. And Niti Aayog was also, you know that Niti Aayog replaced Planning Commission in 2015 per se. And Niti Aayog is National Institution for Transforming India. We want to transform India. States are the drivers of growth. And some of the best practices that were mentioned in his speech are these: skill development, crop insurance, rural development, healthcare, and doing something for the disabled or the differently abled, e-governance, pension reforms. So there were talks about on lot of issues. Now let's come to the main point. He said that the pilot testing strategy is very good. That is, we first can implement a scheme in a small area, that is called pilot testing. Then we can implement it in a bigger area. And he said that the states and union territories, they can learn from the large states and districts. So he mentioned Haryana and Chandigarh in this aspect. Chandigarh is the capital of Haryana and Punjab, but Chandigarh is also a union territory. Now it has become kerosene free. Kerosene is sold from PDS, that is Public Distribution System Centers, which are thousands and thousands in any state. But Haryana became kerosene free after it stopped selling kerosene at its PDS center. And this is very highly subsidized kerosene. Otherwise, poor people will seldom be able to afford it. From April the 1st, 2017, Haryana became kerosene free. Now, my first question for you today, true or false? Haryana is the first kerosene free state or union territory of India. That is question number 1. The PEHL scheme, PEHL stands for Pratyaksh Hastantrit Labh, which means direct benefit transfer scheme, was launched for the consumers to mandatorily have an Aadhaar number for availing the kerosene subsidy. And the third is Jharkhand became the first state in the country to implement the direct benefit transfer in kerosene. So let's see. Haryana is the first kerosene free state or union territory of India. It is absolutely wrong. It is not Haryana, it is Delhi. Haryana became kerosene free in 2017 from April the 1st. Delhi was kerosene free 3 years before in 2014 only. Second, the PEHL scheme. See, PEHL is the name of the direct benefit transfer scheme, not for kerosene. It is for LPG gas. This is also wrong. And third, Jharkhand became the first state in the country to implement direct benefit transfer for kerosene. Yes, this is correct. So first and second statements are wrong and third is correct. So don't lose heart. I know that you probably would have got all 3 wrong, but don't lose heart. Next, now I give you an essay question. Now I told you that direct benefit transfer scheme was started for 2 things, right? One was LPG and one was kerosene. So LPG, we called it PEHL. Okay, PEHL also means initiative. Like the initiative, and kerosene, right? What is the difference between the two? Compare and contrast the direct benefit transfer for kerosene vis-a-vis direct benefit transfer for LPG or cooking gas in India, and also comment on the impact of both the schemes. So here we go. First, let me talk about the LPG. Okay, what is LPG? It is the normal cooking gas that we use in our houses, and it is called liquefied petroleum gas because it is manufactured from crude oil. When we do the controlled combustion of, it is called fractional distillation. When we do the controlled combustion, then we obtain LPG gas. Which gas do we use in India for as LPG? Propane, butane, isobutane, and a mixture sometimes. That is the LPG. Now LPG is odorless gas. That is, it has no smell. So how will you get to know if your gas is leaking? That is why we add C2H5SH, which is called ethyl mercaptan. Ethyl mercaptan. It is also called thioethanol. That is the chemical that we add into the LPG so that we can percept if there is a gas leak. Now, PEHL scheme was the direct benefit transfer for the LPG cylinder. That is, the government gave this cylinder at a highly subsidized rate. and you can obtain 12 cylinders a year, that is 1 cylinder a month under the PEHL scheme. Now the thing is that it is a highly subsidized cylinder. That subsidy you need to have Aadhaar linked bank account, so to make sure that the subsidy is reaching in the right hands. Also, this scheme was very successful. In fact, if you talk about the number of subscribers, then PEHL had one of the highest subscribers in the history of India. So much so that it was also inducted into the Guinness World Records. And PEHL had crores of subscribers, more than 3 crore subscribers. And also this scheme was successful because the government started Give It Up campaign. See, there are people who are quite affluent, who are quite well off, but still they were taking subsidy. So Narendra Modi tried to awaken their conscience by an emotional appeal in his message, and he said that if you think that God has given you everything and you don't need subsidy, please give it up. And his message was really worked. It resonated with the masses, and 1.5 crore people in India, 1.5 crore families, they gave up their subsidy under Give It Up campaign. And whatever this money was saved was again used to give the subsidized LPG cylinder to the poor and the marginalized. So the government claims that it has saved more than 21,000 crore rupees, through eliminating fake and duplicate LPG connections and PEHL initiatives, that is subsidy. It has saved more than 21,000 crore. But were they correct? No. Truth is quite different. So this figure was contested by the CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. He said that government saved only 1,700 crore rupees in subsidy. Okay, and this was on LPG. This subsidy, this 1,700 crore rupees was saved on account of the schemes, and the bulk of the money which you are claiming that you saved was because of the fall in the global petrol prices. So understood? And what about petrol prices? I have explained this in depth, in detail in yesterday's video. How the petrol prices, they determine the prices of the petrol and diesel and the excise and VAT and all that. Okay? So therefore, you did not save this much amount, what you are claiming. You saved only 1,764 crore rupees, that was said by the Comptroller and Auditor General. But still, I would say this scheme was very good. It was really a landmark scheme. Now, I told you to compare and contrast, right? See, the difference is this. When you do a direct benefit transfer scheme for LPG, it is easier. Why? Because there are only 3 oil marketing companies and they have the complete consumer database in a digital format. That is why there is easier coordination between the center and the state, because all the data is available. So easier coordination for a nationwide rollout of the scheme is possible when you have the digital consumer database. And this database is managed by the just 3 companies. That is these 3 companies, Indian Oil Corporation, and Indian Oil Corporation is the most profitable PSU in India. It leapfrogged ONGC as the most profitable PSU in India. Then Bharat Petroleum Corporation and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. These are the 3 oil marketing companies, and all the 3 are under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. But for kerosene, things are little different. First, you must understand that kerosene is used by the rural people, the marginalized. Rich people, you must have never seen using kerosene. So the biggest hurdle, number 1, is that there is lack of digital consumer database. That is the biggest problem, because see, petrol, it is through petrol pumps, and everything is digitized, right, in a petrol pump, and it's very easy. And also there are only 3 companies. Whereas for kerosene, there are thousands and thousands of PDS, the public distribution system centers, where you go and you get kerosene, and therefore it is not easy. So the data is non-digitized, although now they have converted PDS into electronic PDS, but it is only in the nascent stages, in the initial stages. So therefore, it will take some time before the entire digitization of PDS can take place, and therefore there has to be lot of coordination between states and center, because PDS beneficiary database is non-digitized. That is why it is more difficult to implement direct benefit transfer for kerosene than for petrol, than for LPG. Now, second hurdle is the political economy associated with the subsidized kerosene. What is the meaning of political economy? The political mileage. See, what happens is kerosene is used by poor people, and poor people are the vote banks. That means, and also how much subsidy to give and to whom to give is decided by the states in case of subsidized kerosene. Also, the quantum of kerosene that needs to be given decided by the states. Therefore, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult for the center and state to coordinate, because states, they want their own political mileage. They want to show to the people of the state that look, we are giving this subsidy, and So therefore there is a political alignment. So therefore it is quite difficult unless the center and the states have a very strong coordination. That is the second hurdle. Third hurdle is the limited ability of DBTK, that is direct benefit transfer of kerosene, to reduce the incentive for diversion. That is, why do people change? That is the problem. See, why do people use kerosene? Because they want a cheaper substitute for diesel. Petrol they can't afford. Diesel is still affordable, but again, diesel is very costly, and subsidized kerosene, even unsubsidized kerosene, is much cheaper. And you can see the difference between the price of the unsubsidized kerosene and diesel is somewhere, depends on from state to state, but still it is anywhere between 18 rupees to 32 rupees per liter. So it is huge. Until and unless diesel prices fall or they become comparable to kerosene price, people will not stop using kerosene. You are trying for a kerosene free state, right? And you cannot do that because kerosene will be used by the poor people because it is a substitute to diesel. So these are some of the things. And diesel price you cannot reduce because you put so much excise duty and VAT on diesel. So you can't change that also. So this is another hurdle. First, if you want to give subsidy in kerosene, and second, if you want to make a kerosene free state. Another important problem in implementing kerosene subsidy, you don't have banked states. So out of 6 lakh villages in India, less than 1 lakh villages in India, they have any bank or bank branch. So India is severely unbanked and underbanked both. Therefore, poor people, now you have linked it to your account. So poor people, although they have Jan Dhan account, but still they need to go to 40 kilometers for, availing their bank branches, and subsidy, you will be transferred to your poor people's account. So it is not easy for these poor people to go to the banks 40 kilometer, 50 kilometer. So you are giving kerosene subsidy, all right, but you are not giving them in cash. You are depositing in their bank accounts. So therefore, you first need to make sure that every village has a bank. Only then poor people will find it attractive that subsidy is coming into their bank accounts. Now another problem. See, kerosene is used mainly as a lighting fuel in rural India. It is not used for cooking. In fact, less than 1% of households in rural India, they use it as a cooking fuel. So what do people use? They use what? They use firewood, they use coal, they use all these things, and that causes a lot of pollution. Now kerosene is used as a lighting fuel. So even if you are giving LPG is only used for cooking, right? So you still have not given them enough incentive to quit kerosene because they are not using it as a cooking fuel, right? They are using it as a lighting fuel. And in urban poor areas, so they use it for both lighting and cooking, but not for rural areas. They use it only for lighting. 99% of the houses use kerosene for lighting and not for cooking. Also, so what you can do? You can provide them alternative. You can't give them diesel because diesel is costly. You can't give them anything. So you give them at least solar assisted solution, solar energy. Only then they will stop using kerosene. Now another important thing. What happens when the poor people use kerosene? See, kerosene, it is not good for health. It has very adverse health impacts in your lungs, in your respiratory system, and there are fumes and flames and all sort of health hazard. If you store kerosene, it might catch fire, it is flammable and all those things. So if you like for example, the health impact associated with kerosene use, states can save 8,000 to 12,000 crore rupees if for example they stop using kerosene and they invest in solar energy. This is the health expenditure that the exchequer load will become less. Also LPG, if you compare, it is a clean and efficient fuel, okay, and therefore you can continue subsidizing it for the underprivileged who cannot afford it. And that is why they have started a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana is what? You will give free LPG gas cylinder to the below poverty line families. And therefore, we must look at LPG only. We must look beyond kerosene to provide cooking and lighting solutions to the poor household to ensure affordability, reliability and universal availability of these alternatives. Now, what is Ujjwal Yojana? This is super important. 8,000 crore rupees was sanctioned for this Yojana. 5 crore people, they needed to be benefited in the next 3 years. 5 crore LPG connections we will give free of cost to the BPL, below poverty line family. And how will you determine whether a family is below poverty line? You will make use of Social Economic Caste Census of 2011. For that, the center and the states will consult. BPL families will be identified in consultation with the government of states and union territory. So has this scheme been successful? Has it got subscribers? Oh yes. Now this scheme, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana, it has 2.5 crore subscriber. That is 250 million subscriber. Okay, so 25 million subscriber. Now please note that the target was that in 1 year we will have 1.5 crore subscriber, but they achieved this target in only 8 months. That shows that the poor people really took to this scheme. So, and also in UP, I will give you an example. In UP alone, 43 lakh 4.3 million connections were there in Uttar Pradesh, and this was also one of the results of BJP's victory in the elections in the Uttar Pradesh assembly elections, legislative assembly election. Now what is the criticism? Out of the 7 northeastern states, and if you include Sikkim, so 8 northeastern states, in 6 of the northeastern states you don't have even a single LPG connection under Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana. This scheme has not reached the northeast. So that is the criticism. In fact, it has reached in only Assam and Manipur, but there are also very few. Like in Assam only 5 and in Manipur only 27 LPG connections till May 2017. Now in India, how frequent is the changing of LPG cylinder? So the national average is 7.6 per year. The government has provided 12, right? 1 cylinder per month. But the people in India, if you take an average, they change cylinder every 45 days. And the refilling rate, it varies. For example, in areas where the firewood is easily available like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, the refill rate is low for poor people, for everyone. But in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, where you don't have so many forests, and the refill rate is quite high. This depends on the availability of firewood. So therefore, government had a challenge that they need to motivate the people from Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, where firewood is easily available, because they have been used to something for centuries now. Therefore, this was a big challenge. Now, what are the benefits? Benefits are what? So, in fact, let me tell you that the people who were earlier using wood, and now they started using LPG because they were getting it for free, right? So, they said that there has been significant improvement, especially women, because in India, most of the cooking is done by women. So, women, they said that our time is saved because we use LPG, we use gas stoves, right? So, they cook the food faster compared to chula, compared to these firewood and all, and a lot of time is saved. Also, we had to go to the forest and collect firewood. That time is also saved. So on an average, we are saving 1 to 2 hours daily, which we can use to rest, take a rest, leisure activities and other household work. Second, smoke has considerably reduced because LPG is a clean fuel, right? Whereas firewood and all, coal, they give a lot of smoke. They are health hazard. Sometimes they can also release very, very dangerous carbon monoxide and of course carbon dioxide, which is a greenhouse gas. Carbon monoxide can cause death because of compromising of the oxygen carrying capacity of hemoglobin. And also whenever you light up any wood, there is a sensation in the eyes, the smoke goes into the eyes and all sorts of problems are there. Coughing is there, headache is there, all that is disappeared now. And you can see that this scheme is successful because 80% people, they have got their LPG cylinders refilled. That itself shows that they are happy with the response. Another thing is that because of storage of LPG, the other risks have disappeared. Like if you used to keep wood in the house, sometimes it may get wet, it might decay. The wood may catch fire, the wood occupies space in the house and all sorts of things are there. Now, see, now everybody is using LPG all of a sudden, right? So during financial year 2016-17, that is 1st April 2016 to 31st March 2017, LPG consumption in the country increased by almost 10% to 21.5 million ton, 2 crore ton in 1 year. But the thing is that now you need more LPG, so that therefore our companies which make LPG or which carry out LPG production, they need to increase their capacity. So they need to have additional 1242 metric ton per annum in the LPG bottling plants where they store the LPG. And for that 6 brownfield and 10 greenfield projects, they will be implemented. Greenfield project is the one which you put a new project. Brownfield is the one in which you invest in a already existing project. That is called a brownfield project. Now the government is quite bullish. It wants to make this scheme more robust. So Ujjwal will be converted to Ujjwal Plus. This will be announced on 15th of August 2017, the Independence Day next month. And government has given the provision of donation also. That is, you can donate to the poor people and that donation will be helped to subsidize the LPG cylinder. And that you need to remember, Ujjwal Plus. Now Narendra Modi, after kerosene, he talked about Pragati. Pragati is the proactive governance and timely implementation. So there is a lot of tardiness in the implementation of the government schemes in India. Lot of tardiness, lot of delay. So therefore, through Pragati meetings every month, Narendra Modi made sure that The schemes, the long pending projects, they are taken care of. They are implemented in an expeditious manner, and it's a interactive platform. It's an integrating platform. Also, this platform has provisions for grievances redressal, and projects are reviewed on a timely basis. He also said that let's make ease of doing business our top priority, and I've told you already in my 3rd July video that what is ease of doing business, how it matters. If ease of doing business, it attracts investment also, and India is 130. India is far behind in ease of doing business and in the World Bank ranking, and we need to be in top 50. Now he also heaped praises on ENAM, that is National Agriculture Market. This has been a landmark reform in agriculture. He also said that the use of Aadhaar, we are linking Aadhaar with everything, that has eliminated leakages in the system, and this is an example of good governance. He also said that government e-marketplace model, which is that the government, whatever it will buy, it will be in a transparent manner through the government electronic marketplace. There is electronic bidding, electronic procurement, so it will provide efficiency and savings. And he also asked all the states government to implement GEM by August the 15th. Now some other news. There was an attack on the Amarnath Amarnath pilgrimages in Jammu and Kashmir, and there were tributes. There was condemnation by Modi, there was condemnation by the Governor NN Vora and Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti, who paid their tributes to the deceased. Now please note that this is rare actually. It is not very common, because 25,000 troops, they guard the Amarnath pilgrimage. So therefore there are a lot of troops. And how did terrorists came? Basically it was, some are saying that it was a mistake of the bus driver. He was driving after 7 PM, which is not allowed. And there was basically a confrontation between the terrorist and the police, and the CRPF. But the bus came in between that time, and therefore it was unfortunate that 7 people got killed. They were all from Gujarat. 6 were in fact women and 1 was man. So the bus was not even registered. It was not even a part of it was not even registered with the Amarnath Shrine Board. It was not even registered with the authorities. So it was basically the driver flouting the rules. That is what is being the popular narrative. Now, how many attacks have been carried out on the Amarnath pilgrims? So you can see here that there have been 5 attacks so far. Then 2000, 2001, there were 2 in 2002, and finally now 2017, 7 people got killed. The biggest attack was in 2000 when 21 people had got killed. Total 52 deaths in the 5 attacks on the Amarnath pilgrims. And you can see that since this government has come in 2014-15, May 2014, you can see that although more terrorists have got killed, so this is more proactive government in terms of anti-terrorist stance, but more civilians also and more security personnel also. 98 of our Jawans have been killed since 2014, and you can also see number of civilians, their killing has also been increased. In fact, there were when they were using those bullets, the rubber bullets last year, a lot of people got blinded also. Now, one thing that you need to remember is that just before Modi's visit to America, he met Donald Trump, right? So on 27 June 2017, just before Modi went to America, America designated Hizbul Mujahideen chief Syed Salahuddin as a global terrorist. So he's not only India's enemy, he is a global enemy. And who is he? He heads Hizbul Mujahideen. And Hizbul Mujahideen, he also heads United Jihad Council, which is a collaboration or it is a consortium of various terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed. Lashkar-e-Toiba's chief is Hafiz Saeed, who carried out the Mumbai attacks. And Syed Salahuddin, he openly admitted to having carried out the Pathankot attacks in Punjab last year in 2016. Also, one of our very eminent bureaucrats, Shri Naresh Chandra, expired. I am just telling you this news so you should know who was he. He had carried out a lot of reforms. He was an outstanding servant, and he was former Indian ambassador to the United States. Now, let's come to a very important thing. See, UNESCO World Heritage Site. So, India has 35 World Heritage Sites. Now, Ahmedabad has been added. So, India now has 36. And out of the 36 World Heritage Sites in India, 28 are cultural, 7 are natural, and 1 is mixed. This was announced that Ahmedabad is now the World Heritage City. It was announced in the 41st session of the World Heritage Committee of UNESCO, which is United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization headquartered in Paris, the same place where we have the headquarters of OECD. And please note that Ahmedabad is only the first city in India to be declared a World Heritage, and it is only the 3rd city in Asia to be declared World Heritage. So, how many World Heritage Sites are there? 36. Okay, so the old name of Ahmedabad is Karnavati. It was founded by Sultan Ahmad Shah, that is by Ahmedabad, in the 15th century on the bank of the Sabarmati river, where we have the holy Sabarmati ashram where Gandhiji used to stay. And it has a huge cultural heritage, architectural heritage. More than 28 archaeological survey of India protected monuments are there in Ahmedabad. There is a lake, Nal Sarovar Lake. There are, Bhadra Fort, and there are a lot of important distinctive neighborhoods, residential streets, etc. So very, very heritage city. Now before this, these three, Nalanda, Kanchenjunga National Park, and Chandigarh Administrative Building by Le Corbusier, they were declared as World Heritage Sites last year. And these two in 2014, Rani Ki Wow and Great Himalayan National Park. So these were 5. Now, how many World Heritage Sites are there in India? 36 now. India is second in the Asia Pacific region behind China. China has 52. It is second in the world. Italy has 53. Just one more than China. So Italy has the most World Heritage Sites in the world. Keep that in mind. And China, second highest in the world and first highest in the Asia and Pacific. And India is overall 7th in the world. Now, to make sure that China gets its act together and China does not get ahead of itself, 3 countries, they put pressure on China every time. That is India, US and Japan. This exercise is called Malabar Exercise, which takes place in the Bay of Bengal and North Indian Ocean. Please also note that when this exercise had started in 1992, only India and US were party to it. Now Japan also joined later on. So this was the 21st edition and this is the naval exercise. So which ships participated? Just remember 3 ships. From India, INS Vikramaditya participated. From American side, it was the Nimitz carrier, and from Japan side, it was the JS Uzumu. But from Indian side, you can remember, if you want some other names also, like a frigate, which is Shivalik and Shayadri, corvette, which is Komorta, missile corvette, Kora and Kirpan, Sindhu Ghosh, they all participated. Now, our finance minister Arun Jaitley, you know that NABARD was established in 1982. It is our agriculture bank for rural development. Please note that NABARD is completing 36 years. So its 36th foundation day, Arun Jaitley will attend as a chief guest. And also NABARD had a landmark scheme which is called Self-Help Group Bank Linkage Scheme. What is this scheme? See, there are poor women, right? So 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 poor women, they form a group which is called a SHG, Self-Help Group. Then of course they collect money from each other, some little money, and when it becomes some sizable amount, they go and deposit in the NABARD bank. But NABARD bank, whenever these women want any big money, much bigger than what they can afford or what they can pay back, or without any collateral, without any security, it provides them the loans. So far 61,000 crore rupees has been dispersed for poor women, because this scheme it is not like it is only for women, but it only supports women. So this is called the Self-Help Group Bank Linkage Program of NABARD. It is completed Silver Jubilee, that is 25 years. It is a landmark scheme. And in May 2016, Reserve Bank of India said that this, whatever the amount that you give that you give to the self-help group as a lending, then that is included in the priority sector lending to the weaker section. So, your norms of priority sector lending will not affect if you give this. In fact, they will be realized once you start paying loans to the self-help groups. So NABARD was actively giving the money to self-help groups. And also note that whenever women needed money, like for housing, education, marriage, they used to get a lump sum from the bank, which was much more than their capacity. What is priority sector lending? See, some part of the money of the banks, that is some 40% of the adjusted net bank credit, which is called ANBC, banks have to give to these sectors: agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprises, export credit, education, housing, social infrastructure and renewable energy. You have to give to these. That is 40%. There is other category also which is called others. So there are 8 categories in priority sector. Now, for example, 18% of the bank credit should go to agriculture, 7.5% to micro enterprise. And this is very important because these sectors, they form the core of our nation. For example, let me give you micro enterprise example. The Deputy Governor of RBI, his name is SS Mundra. Yesterday he said that there are almost 5 crore MSMEs in the country, micro, small and medium enterprises, and 45% of our manufacturing output is from MSME. 11 crore people, they get employment, and 40% of India's exports are by MSME. So that is how important they are. Now you know that there are 2 types of bank which are opened. One is the small finance bank and another is the payment bank. So payment bank, so far 4 have opened. First was Airtel Payment Bank, then was India Post, that was Paytm, and now Fino Paytech Payment Bank. But when you talk about small finance bank, 75% of their bank money, the bank credit, should go to priority sector, against 40% of a normal bank which has more than 20 branches. foreign bank, and for foreign bank this rule is there, it should have more than 20 branches, and for all the domestic banks. And also to priority sector, 75% of the money should go from small finance bank, and 25% of the branches of a small finance bank should be in the unbanked rural area which do not have any bank. So self-help group program, it was started in 1992. It is completing 25 years, silver jubilee. 10 crore families have benefited from it, and as on 31st March 2017, financial year 2017, these groups have had saving of more than 16,000 crore rupees. So it was a landmark scheme, and more than 8.5 crore women were direct participants in the self-help group movement. Now our direct tax department, which is called CBDT, income tax department. Income tax is a direct tax, so we directly pay to the government. That is called income tax. So CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, has launched a mobile app called Aikar Setu. Aikar means income tax. Setu means a bridge, like a bridge connecting river. That is called a bridge. So it was launched by Arun Jaitley. What are the facilities? See, you can apply for a PAN number from this app. You will get a lot of information about your taxes, how to file a return. You can link your PAN with your Aadhaar card. I mean, a lot of facilities are there. So they have come up with this app. It is only available on Android, but soon it will be available on iOS also. So you can file your income tax, apply for PAN, you can check your TDS, that is tax deducted at source. You can, share your grievances also. There's a live chat option also. So if you are feeling bored, just go to this app and chat between 10 AM to 6 PM. And yeah, that's all you need to know. You can also get SMS updates if you register your mobile number. Now, Supreme Court made it mandatory on 9 of June 2017 that you need to link your PAN to Aadhaar. This is super important. That also you can do through this app. One of the most important features of this app. If you want to play some games, quizzes, you can take the quiz called Tax Gyan. Okay, Tax Gyan is a quiz regarding the taxation. Now, GST important announcement. If an employer, see there are two people, like one is the boss who is the employer, and one is the subordinate, not subordinate, the one who is employed, he is called the employee. So if the employer gives something to the employee as a gift up to 50,000, no problem, no GST. But if you go over 50,000, then GST will apply. Now, Ministry of Health, it has signed a MOU with the government of West Bengal. They will set up a center of excellence in transfusion medicine. What is transfusion medicine? When the medicine related to blood donation and the transfer of blood or the transfer of blood component like platelet, etc. is called transfusion medicine. Now there will be a center of excellence for transfusion medicine in Kolkata for 200 rupees. It will be built. Now, Indian Railways, this is very important. See, Indian Railways, it has been using conventional sources of energy like coal, etc., which causes a lot of pollution. So the department which is responsible for creating alternative fuel strategy, it is called Indian Railways Organization for Alternative Fuel, IROF. It has got the Golden Peacock Award. Golden Peacock Awards are given for corporate excellence. Whenever you excel in something, this they have got for the eco innovation for the year 2017 because they prepared a fuel which is called dual fuel 1400 HP. Now, what is this fuel? Now you don't need to use 100% diesel. You can replace 20% diesel by CNG in the DEMU trains which are run by diesel. So diesel engine trains, you can use 20%, you can decrease the amount of diesel by 20% and you can replace it with CNG. Very, very important, 20%. What this will do is, it will reduce nitrogen oxides by 16%, carbon dioxide greenhouse gas by 6%, particulate matter, which is particulate matter 2.5 and 10 by 18%, and you can reduce the fuel cost by 8%. So this is, for example, one of the example of a train which is run by CNG or LNG, liquefied natural gas. And Golden Peacock Awards are the awards for corporate excellence worldwide. They are like a benchmark. And they are given by Indian government, and they were instituted by the Institute of Directors India in 1991. So now they are saying that 20% substitution of diesel by CNG, but they are also saying that in future we can even replace 40% diesel by CNG, which will save around 3,400 crore rupees per annum. Now, Indian power sector, let me give you a quick update. See, one is the conventional sources of energy, which is the old sources of energy like coal and all. One is the new sources of energy, which are the renewable sources of energy, the alternate sources of energy. So in conventional sources of energy, we have achieved our target. So for the last 5 years, 2012 to 17, our target was 88,000 megawatts. See, 1,000 megawatt is equal to 1 gigawatts. So our target was 88 gigawatt. We produced 99 gigawatt. Power sector has been a revolution in this country. In fact, out of this 99 gigawatt, 60,000 megawatt out of 99,000 megawatt is only in the last 3 years. 61% of the total capacity addition has been only since Modi government came. And conventional generation capacity addition has been in 2015 highest ever in the history of India, which is 23 gigawatts. So, and renewable energy sources installed capacity was only 31 gigawatt as on 31st March 2014, when Modi government was almost on the verge of taking over. But today, in just 3 years, we have 57 gigawatts renewable energy, which is more than 80% increase in just 3 years. And this is our target for renewable energy. Keep this in mind, keep this handy. 175,000 megawatt or 175 gigawatt till 2022. Out of that, 100 should be solar, 60 should be wind, 10 should be from biomass, and 5 should be from small hydrocarbons. This was the video for today, very comprehensive. So I'll bring, see, if someday I don't make the video, please don't get disheartened. Please don't have a long face. I will make sure that not even a single day will be missed till 2018 UPSC prelims. Thanks for watching.